All right, our next topic is going to be about Roblox, the one thing we never talk about in this podcast, except like one other time.
Ever.
And never, ever. And after our time at South by,
We realize how popular.
yes, it is insane how many people or younger, I guess Gen Z, plays this game. Little known fact, I didn't know. Did you know Roblox is worth 7 Ubisofts?
No.
That's a lot of money. How much money? Too much money.
Too much money.
Yeah. They're publicly traded, which Brett told us earlier this week, and that is literally insane.
I also remember from a stat from the one of the talks we went to, they have 72 million daily active users,
Damn.
which sounds insane.
Isn't that more than like most?
More than everything.
Yeah.
I mean, freaking, we're bragging about Helldiver. It's got 400,000.
Yeah, we're just happy with that.
These are millions.
yeah, that's insane. Anyway, while we're out South by, we went to this panel called The Next Generation Entertainment, Gaming, and Content Creation Innovators. And like I mentioned before in our Best of South by Southwest, there's a guy on there from Roblox who deals with music, and there was another guy on there who deals with creating, actually two other guys who deal with creating experiences in Roblox and other places like Fortnite, because they do experiences too.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting they don't call them games, they call them experiences.
Yep.
That's like all based on the game. But anyway, the way that they were speaking about it just kind of irked me the wrong way. And just like the words they chose, very corporate, very like marketing, like this is just for money making. We want to tell people about it so they can bring stuff here and just sell stuff to kids, basically, because over 60% of the people or the player base is kids, which is insane.
So our topic is...
I'm getting into that. Oh, okay. Slowly but surely. So I really wanted to dive into this because I thought it was interesting how they discuss about marketing to kids overall. And I was like, okay, like, for me, I feel like there's a middle ground for marketing to children, especially when, nowadays I feel like kids just get on the internet. I mean, when I was young, I could get on porn sites like easily, right? So same thing here. Like, I feel like kids get taken advantage of in this kind of situation. One of the things that the guy brought up was that Maybelline, beauty makeup company.
Maybelline.
Yeah. They created this experience in Roblox and put it out there, and it was very, very successful. And a lot of kids enjoyed what was there. They had like this, like, it was kind of like the Fallout experience in real life, but in Roblox. And you could go around and go to all these different stores and buy stuff and try on things that were like Maybelline related. And you got these kids to enjoy this experience that now have a favorable opinion about Maybelline. And on the surface, like, it's not a big deal. Companies do it all the time. But my thing is, when is it okay to market to kids, especially a product that some people might not consider should be marketed to kids at a certain point? Like, when you start marketing beauty products to girls, because you can also make the argument, like, it's supposed to make it look pretty, and it's more of a, like, as you mature, you begin to get to the point where you want to find a partner, eventually get married, and so, like, technically women put makeup on to look pretty, and so I felt like the way that they were talking, there was no line. It was just like, hey, let's just create experiences and market to kids, because if you can get them younger, they will be technically a consumer for life. So there was an interesting quote that I found. It's from Aristotle. He said, "Give me a child until he is 7, and I will show you the man." And so what that means is, if you want to raise a child in a certain way, the work begins from the time they are born for a very limited time. And so what this suggests is that the environment, experiences, and education a child receives during the formative years, 0 to 7, shapes who they become later in life. And because kids now have unfettered access to the internet and games like this, because all their friends are playing it and it seems harmless, and I'm sure adults are like, yeah, go have fun, play games. I see more younger kids all the time have iPads, which you can get this Roblox on iPads. So you have these people who are technically pushing for other influencers, marketers, product companies to be like, hey, make an experience, hire us, we'll make this really awesome experience, and have these kids have a favorable opinion about your company or product. and that makes them consumers.
Future consumers.
Yep, for life potentially.
Yeah.
And so I think it's kind of hard to put a pinpoint if these people will become, or these kids will become consumers for life, but you definitely put something in the back of their mind, which could be considered manipulation and or grooming. And Roblox has also had issues with kids being groomed by adults. And in the UK, I saw one article where a kid was kidnapped after meeting someone on Roblox. Eventually, they were found. But I think this is a problem. I'm sure Roblox is dealing with that. But when you have these platforms where kids like to go to, I feel like you need to be really strict. And it's not about marketing and making, trying to, from my standpoint, it's just trying to make consumers for life. And there was no like talk of, well, there's a boundary or something like that, which I think it's part of the culture. Like, obviously more adults should be involved in stuff like this. Like, know what your kid's watching, know what they're playing, who they're talking to. Like, you have to be involved in your child's life in order to get a good understanding of what's going on, because crazy stuff like this could happen, You don't want your kid to get kidnapped by someone on Roblox. But anyway, that's kind of my TED Talk right now. I just feel like Roblox is this people just have access to kids, and no one's really talking about that to a big degree, at least not that I heard.
So what is Roblox doing? They're hunting and grooming
I feel
kids?
like they're opening the hunting ground for products and corporations and potentially predators to come in and manipulate kids.
So
Does that all track for y'all?
yeah, no, it tracks. But corporations have been doing this for like a while now.
They have.
And
They have.
and they mostly been doing it with like movies and TV shows, product placements.
Right.
That's the main reason the fall of Batman and Robin is because they were trying to sell toys and push toys and toys.
Yes,
Because that's
yes.
where they get their funding from, and
Yep.
Pepsi and Coca-Cola and all this shit. But what I think is like the big takeaway from this is like what you were explaining is just like with the makeup, and it's not kid items that we're looking at anymore.
Can I say one thing on your
Yeah.
first point? Is that I agree with you. There's a great video on someone going over how these product placements and product games, they call them advert games.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because like all of it, it's been there forever. You can, like back in my day, they created the dang it, what's the box games at the CCs and stuff? I can't remember the name right now.
Arcades.
Arcades, thank you. They would create arcade games for kids and stuff. But those were like singular things. That like you didn't have a platform of 7 million people.
Plus, you couldn't update it.
Exactly.
With new advertisements or anything like that.
You didn't have full access to communications with with kids. Like you just put it out there and you hope for the best. And some things were successful and some things weren't.
When the Simpsons influenced us when we were children.
They did.
Yeah.
Arcade Simpsons, man.
Oh yeah.
But like, I agree with Austin. Those are like it was very small, tiny influences, and now we can easily update it, and what they're going for, like you said, an example is Maybelline, and they mention what's the famous model thing, Balenciaga. Balenciaga and stuff like that. I don't know if it's a generation gap or a generation thing to promote these items. I don't think they should. Understand the toys and stuff like that for kids. It's meant for kids. But another thing is it's hard to regulate that just to begin with because you don't know what age limit you're dealing with in Roblox, right?
That's true.
It could be a 7-year-old or 5-year-old. My nephew plays it, and half the stuff he doesn't really understand, but like you said, he sees the content there, Maybelline or whatever, which I don't care if he turns out whatever. If he wants to put on makeup, he can put on makeup. I'm not saying that, but I see what you're saying is influence a future consumer. But it's a double-edged sword. You also have people in there that are of age that can use, once again, example, Maybelline or something like that, and see it day to day, and hey, I can go put some eyeshadow on or whatever, and have fun, just like my character. And I think that's what the corporation was leaning more into. Maybe there is a darker side to it where they're thinking, yeah, we can influence these kids to make decisions on their own. But I mean, that's like a constant thing in worldwide, and a lot of stuff we don't realize it. And it is scary. It is scary. I don't agree. I think there should be, with the roadblocks, because I've seen articles about child predators on there and stuff like that. I think there should be a regulation on that, but that's once again, it's hard to regulate. You know what I mean? I'm not blaming the company; they're very successful and stuff like that, but I don't know how to overcome this. It's weird. It's a fucking weird area that I didn't realize was a big thing until we went to that panel and we talked about roadblocks, and I was just like, holy crap.
Yeah, it was mind-blowing.
I didn't realize how much these companies influence. I wouldn't say influence, but it's the branding,
Well, they influence. It
is an influence for sure, yeah.
So one point, you're right. Like at a certain age, you start maturing and your brain starts maturing. Yeah. And like Cypher mentioned in the panel, he was saying that, as you grow up, he didn't say like a certain group, but he knows people catch on at a certain point that it's like, oh, this is an ad, and they just look past it all together. Like it doesn't faze them.
True.
But as a kid, you're just getting influenced by things subconsciously because you just see them in the world, and it doesn't make sense to you. And if you can put a positive feeling towards a brand, like you're more favorable to that brand, even if you don't, the first time you see it. When you can comprehend stuff, is like, oh, I'm going to buy that. You're just like, oh yeah, that's cool. Then slowly but surely, 7 points of contact, like you talked about. There's all these ways to like. The more you see something, the more you're accustomed to it, and the more you enjoy it.
The more you'll remember it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like the Halo trailer that was playing at the Paramount House. Like the more I watched it, I was like, I kind of want to watch it now.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like whenever my mom was pregnant with my little sister, she would constantly watch Golden Girls over and over again. And then after Abby was born and stuff, once she hears the Golden Girls theme song, she passes out and goes to sleep. I take that as the same premise as like visually experience something positive. You're in a positive environment, and you see that and you see it over again. And it changes your feeling. You know, it changes everything because you're in a good space.
Right.
Oh, this is a weird psychological subject.
So if you're above a certain age, like,
it's making me feel ways.
I have no problem with companies marketing. Like, I have no problem with companies marketing everything they want to towards me because I can decipher, like, oh, I need this, I don't need this. Like, as a child, you're like, I'm going on a feeling.
But even as a child, even if you grow out of that state, you still get. Like,
exactly,
it's still a thing. It's still the branding's still there. So you're experiencing something good, and you see something, and you keep doing it. I mean, it's still So it's not just about being a child. It's about just how are they influencing so many people with this, and is it bad and is it good?
Right.
I mean, advertising boy here can
fucking jump in, Brett.
I'm just waiting for my time. I'm waiting for my time.
All right, your soapbox is now.
My brain is like a little fried right now because I'm thinking way too deep about it. And I don't like it.
Yeah,
I want to be dumb Jason right now. Go ahead.
I agree with the idea of what you're talking about here. Of like, this is a concern for sure. Of like getting people. I mean, we look at Instagram and we look at social media and how it has impacted and honestly increased the rates of depression and suicide and stuff like that in high school kids because you get to a certain age where you get exposed to Instagram and all of a sudden now it's like, look at all these people that are prettier than me, that look better than me, that do more than me, that do all these different things. And then you get depressed and sad and you start overthinking everything in your life. And the fact that we're now bringing it into people even at an even younger age. One of the talks I went to that you guys weren't at that I thought was incredibly fascinating was about Gen Alpha, and that's people that are born in the ages of 2013 to today. Okay, so these are 0 to roughly 10 years old.
Yeah,
so they are about to enter into the Roblox Fortnite era, and these are millennial parents that are raising these children. So us raising these kids. And they mention how 46% of older Gen Alphas request groceries and snacks by brand name. So they don't know things as like, I want chips.
True.
They want Fritos. They know these brands already. They've been ingrained with them.
Yep.
This is already having an effect on young kids in that sense. And I was like, and they also had some stats on like technology. So 39% of Gen Alphas spend at least 3 hours online. 24% of Gen Alphas spend at least 7 hours on their smartphone. So that's like a quarter, but that's 1 in 4, that spend that much time on their cell phone. And 51% stream video daily. So not only are they in Roblox, but they're like on video seeing advertisements, and then they're in Roblox and they spend, several hours in there. 60% of Gen Alphas use YouTube. Like there's all these things that all of them are presenting them with brands and information and things that's going to influence their lives 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years from now.
So it's worse now because of that, because you have your whole life online from when you were X age, like super young.
Yeah.
That is tracked by all these companies, sold by all these companies. And now your whole life, like they know how to technically make you feel in order to get you to buy something.
Yeah.
I mean, with the iPhones tracking your eyes, apparently that's a thing. Like when you're looking at the screen, like maybe not now, but before, I've heard that it would follow your eye movements and know when you're excited or sad. Yeah, I'm telling you, like that's just it's a horrible thing.
Well,
so although technology's been so great, and that's the thing, like we know about it or we can talk about it and discuss it, and the kids just don't know. They're just like, oh, this is cool. And it's worse when it's like, oh, all my friends have this. All my friends are on Roblox. It just seems like a harmless kids game.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's quickly becoming the place where all these companies are going to want to market to.
Well, that's where they're hanging. I mean, they said in that talk, it has 2 times the engagement over TikTok.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like TikTok is already like freaking inundating people's lives with like swipe, dopamine rush. And then now they're coming in here spending 2.5 hours a day shopping, hanging out. They're not like shooting people or whatever. They're just like hanging out with their friends.
Yeah.
And in that world, you're not getting hit with a billboard. You're getting hit with Maybelline's immersive experience. That Fallout experience is way more effective than any billboard you're going to see on the side of the road.
Right.
But then you were still hit with the buses and the billboards
Oh,
and
yeah.
all the different things that were happening
7
around
points
you.
of contact.
Is it? This is where like it's kind of like a double-edged sword, and it's kind of like in a gray box for me. Is it bad for these companies to do that? Like, is it really like?
So I have an answer. I have an answer.
Money.
I have an answer.
Like, this is scary. I don't like
I
this
have no
subject.
problem.
I don't.
I have no problem with a company or product that is already aimed at kids to market to kids.
Yeah.
Because it tracks. Like it all tracks. Now, I mean,
Like if they had Hasbro up there, or like
like I'm marketing Legos.
Easy
I'm
Bake
not gonna-
What
Oven,
should
or
you
like
be like?
Legos? Or,
What brand should be allowed to market? There should
Exactly.
be an age limit, just like there's on
Yes.
YouTube. It should be an
Yes.
age
Age
limit on
limit.
brand
Right.
exposure.
And here, maybe they didn't discuss it. Maybe they left that part out. But it just seems like there is no filter for branding. Now, yeah, you could target certain, age groups or demographics. I mean, you're talking to one of the speakers, and they said, you don't want to limit your reach for this experience. If you're trying to reach someone, you want to reach, the biggest audience possible. So
Yeah.
it just seems like there's no filter. Like it's just free game out there. Time for hunting.
I think we're touching on something that is a growing issue, but that no one's realizing yet.
No, they haven't.
That's my concern right now.
They haven't
And
realized
they're going to realize it way too late.
That's my concern about AI. It's like we're feeding all this information into the AI, and we don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, I always go back to the example of like Facebook and Instagram, where it's like, remember when Facebook first came out? It's like, hey, which Hogwarts house are you? Which is this? And like, tell me what interests you have. Oh, you and Austin share the same interest in Fallout. And then now that information is being used to serve us ads.
This makes me want to just throw away my PC and just keep my
I mean,
PlayStation. Just stay away from fucking all
yeah.
technology.
PlayStation's doing it to you too.
Then I
man.
just
I know everybody.
I'm gonna live out in the. I don't. This subject's weird. I don't like it.
I think there's a way to combat this, but I mean, you have to almost take drastic action. But you just don't have a profile for anything. You just sign up with your name, and I mean, outside of them being able to track like what you actually want, like look at that you're like surfing the web or whatever, you just get basic information. But even that's like too much nowadays.
Yeah. I really think we're touching on something that's like going to be a big problem in like the next 5 years.
Well, they'll look back and be like, "How did we get here?"
How did we
And
get
then
here? And
this
then
is it.
This is it.
Well, and we don't know what it's going to do to people's. I mean, like the things like we now are. I mean, we don't know how it's going to affect people, like how it's going to affect their jobs, their way they interact with each other. Like we're seeing millennials now in the workforce. It's like You know, what did Batman Beyond do to you guys? Like, how did that change y'all's
Don't kill
psyche?
people.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Right, exactly. You know, but
No.
it is interesting. Like, we don't know where that's going to go, but I mean, we were the last generation to grow up in a digitalist future.
Yeah.
Gen Z was also born in digital, but Gen Alpha is the first generation that is fully immersed in the digital age.
Yeah.
It's like, what is that going to look like in 10 years?
This just tells me that, like, parents with these kids and stuff, you need to know what your kids are playing. You need to be more involved in it instead of just give them a screen and just be like, hey, just go with it. It'll shut you up for a couple minutes. Be involved with it.
I know. I see that all the time now.
Get involved with them. I see, like, multiple people, like, streaming, and they stream with their kids, so they're involved in it. I mean, a lot of the panels that we went to, a guy would ask a question. I play Fortnite with my kid. You know, do that. Play the game.
I would totally do that.
And like figure it out and see the influences that is in this game, and is it really right for your kid? I'm not saying that Fortnite's bad. I'm not saying that Roblox is bad. I'm not saying that any of these bad, but pay attention to it, because we're in a point where stuff can update like that, and it can be totally different the next day. Be super involved with it.
I have no problem with Fortnite.
Yeah,
We went to the other panel. They're talking about music and how they're, like, at least on the music side, like, they're just focused on having fun experiences without being like, yeah, we want to work with this person or they want to work with us, but it's not like
how everything changes.
money driven. Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. You always got to watch out for that.
Fortnite's not any different, man. They're doing the same old shit over there.
Well, see, this is the other side of the coin. Other side of the coin.
You say corn.
Other side of the coin. Yeah. No, the coin is that, Fortnite has just paired with Disney. And so they're creating the whole little experience with Disney. But I have no problem with that because it's kid oriented. This game is aimed towards kids to begin with. Obviously, it captures a larger audience.
Once again, we were just talking about on the Skip Rent By about like how Disney is pushing an agenda.
I agree.
And that's what I'm saying. So that's like
I guess surface level.
Yeah, surface level now, but like
I agree.
We're dealing with stuff that can be updated just like that. That's what I'm saying for parents. Just be involved in what your kids play.
It's like the dark future, the all digital age that we talked about, last podcast.
I think the most horrible thing about it is that they're training these young kids to
consume,
to have less meaning behind money. Mm-hmm. Like there's, when we were in Fortnite yesterday playing around, it's like they brought out, Lego Fortnite and they got all that other stuff that's inside of it. Well, now when you go to the shop, you can buy Lego houses that are prefab houses for like $3 or $4. And it's like, there's just
tracks,
all these games that have all these like little tiny microtransactions that you are inundated to pay. And it's like, eventually it's like, sure, I'll throw $3 there, $2 there, $4 there. And it's just, you're throwing all this money away. And it's like, how much are you spending?
How much money are you spending on a cup of coffee a day there, Brett?
Yeah, exactly. I'm a problem.
Well, now that he knows, no, I'm kidding. Yeah,
I spend about $1,200 a year on coffee.
Dang. See, that's why I had to buy my own espresso machine just for this reason.
But see, for me, it's an experience. Okay, I'm there for the experience, not as much.
Waiting in line.
I don't need the coffee.
Hey, if you're going to Dutch Bros, it is experience. They love talking to you, making you feel happy.
Fuck Dutch so much.
I love it. I love
it talking, but I want to go Dutch Bros.
Hey man, I went to my Dutch Bros.
But
I go local coffee. I support local. Awesome.
Fair enough. You're just closer.
Freaking consumerism.
Especially they knew me by name. I came so much.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, thank you for remembering my name.
Yeah,
especially sitting in line,
that's
like
Disney,
waiting
basically.
for my drink, and they had the window open, and they're just talking to me. And I'm
oh
like,
yeah.
I slowly rolled up my window one day. I was like, just stare at them. just like I don't want this. It's too.
You need to stream your life. I want to see this.
Oh my god,
this is great.
Okay,
to get us back on track.
Yes. Yeah.
One positive thing I got from Gen Alpha is 55% of Gen Alpha parents say their child prefers being outside doing activities.
That's good.
So there's still hope for the future. Although they play a lot of video games and do a lot of things, like they still enjoy being outside and being around other people.
Yep. So I agree.
So
that's awesome. Yeah. I mean, things are changing. They're saying Gen Z, right? Is that the one before Alpha?
Yeah.
Gen Z, yeah. That they actually lean more conservative. I mean, that's just a broad term. I'm not saying like they're like super right wingers, but like things are trending that way.
So
that's just how they are.
That have anything to do with anything?
Well,
why are you getting all political on us, Austin?
Millennials lean more left. So
yeah, left, right, left.
I'm just saying.
It's just happening. It's just what it is.
Stupid.
Yeah, generational shit.
Things change.
Yeah.
Generational shit.
Please change. No, I got
You're talking about changes. I'm talking about changes.
Obama
Mama.
change.
Yeah.
How's this open?
Yeah.
So let's get
We
back
are
on
changing.
track.
I go with politics. No, fuck you.
Did we just get demonetized?
I mean, we already did. We're advertising Miller Lite and Zin right now.
Oh shit! The kids. Focus up.
Hey, this video is always marked
This is
as
who you
not
shouldn't
friendly
be.
for kids. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's
There you
true.
go.
That's true.
Yeah, fuck those kids. I'm just kidding.
You want to do what?
Whoa!
You should
Hey!
go to Roblox.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Oh, this got derailed me too.
Gosh! All right,
Sorry.
guys. What do you think about this topic? Are you worried of these issues? Are we overreacting? What are your thoughts about the South by panel? We'll drop a link for that so you can listen to both panels that we went to because they both have audio on those pages.
There we
On
go.
South by, they do. Yeah,
good.
Oh, nice.
it's great. So you can, we can go back and listen if we want to and all that stuff.
God.
So yeah, drop a comment. Catch you guys next time.